The split lip should have gone unnoticed. Just another imperfection on someone Damon Park had trained himself not to see. His housekeeper came twice a week, moved through his high-rise like a ghost, left everything spotless. That was the arrangement. But when Keisha Williams walked into his living room that Tuesday afternoon and actually flinched when their eyes met, something primal awakened in him, something that had nothing to do with the criminal empire he controlled. "Who hurt you?" The words came out quieter than he intended. Dangerous quiet, the kind of quiet that preceded bloodshed in his line of work. Keisha's hand flew to her mouth, covering the swollen corner. "Nobody, Mr. Park. Just clumsy is all." Damon took a step forward. She took one back. That instinctive retreat, that fear response, made every protective instinct he'd buried under years of calculated violence rise to the surface. For the first time since he'd taken control of Los Angeles's Korean underground at 23, Damon Park felt something he couldn't compartmentalize or control. "Don't," he said softly. "Don't lie to someone who's made a career of knowing when people lie." Welcome back, friends. This is Prince of Afro-Korean Stories, where passion, danger, and impossible romance intersect. Please keep sharing your ideas for future episodes. And kindly like, share, and subscribe, and activate notifications so you never miss our latest content. Keisha had worked for Damon for 8 months without really registering his existence. He was background noise in expensive tailored suits, the faint smell of sandalwood cologne, footsteps that never hurried. She knew what mattered. He paid through a service that added 50% to her rate, never left dirty dishes, required silence. Silence was Keisha's superpower. 26 years of being the help, the invisible one, the woman nobody looked at twice, had perfected her ability to take up no space. She made herself smaller in crowded rooms, held her breath around wealthy clients, mastered the art of existing without being noticed. Today, her invisibility cracked wide open. She'd tried covering the damage, drugstore concealer that didn't quite match, carefully applied to hide the worst of it. Her supervisor at Crystal Clean Services would cut her hours if she showed up looking beat up. Maya needed new winter boots. Rent was already late, so Keisha showed up for work. The penthouse was empty when she arrived at 3, her regular time slot. Damon was never home during her shifts, a mercy she desperately needed today. She moved through the massive space with its wall-to-wall windows displaying Los Angeles like a kingdom below. His kingdom, she'd heard other cleaners whisper. Damon Park owned every major business in Koreatown and controlled what happened in the shadows between them. The legitimate ventures were cover. Everything else lived in darkness. Keisha didn't care about his business. She cared about the $800 a month that kept her daughter fed and their lights on. She was wiping down the kitchen counters, imported marble that cost more than her car, when the elevator doors opened. Her stomach dropped. He was never here during the day. "You're here late." His voice came from behind her, lightly accented, each syllable measured and precise. Keisha turned slowly, angling her face away from the light. "Sorry, Mr. Park. I'll be out of your way soon. Look at me when I'm speaking to you, not a request." Damon Park didn't make requests. She lifted her gaze and watched his expression transform from polite distance to sharp focus. He crossed the kitchen in seconds, Italian loafers silent against the hardwood. Up close, he was almost intimidating in his beauty. Sharp features, eyes that registered everything. Black hair perfectly styled. White dress shirt with the collar unbuttoned revealing collarbones and the edge of black ink. What happened? His hand moved toward her face, stopped midair, waiting for permission she didn't know how to grant. I tripped. The lie felt obvious, childish. "It's nothing." Damon's eyes went cold. 8 months, and she'd never heard him raise his voice, but the stillness in him now was more frightening than any shout. "You tripped." He repeated it slowly, deliberately. "And the marks on your arm." He gestured to her forearm, where fingerprints bloomed purple against her brown skin, visible despite the long sleeves. Keisha pulled her sleeve down. "Mr. Park, I really need to finish. I've got 2 more houses today. Sit down. I can't. I have a schedule," and I said sit. Softer this time, but absolutely final. She perched on the edge of his leather couch, wrong in every way. Her discount uniform, her worn sneakers, her damaged face in his pristine world. Damon stood before her, hands clasped behind his back, watching her with an intensity that made her pulse race. "Tell me who did this. There's nobody to tell about." "Keisha." The way he said her name, careful, almost reverent, made her breath catch. He'd never used her name before. "I've spent 15 years learning to read people. You're terrified. That injury is recent. Someone put their hands on you." She stood abruptly. "With all respect, Mr. Park, my personal life isn't your concern. It became my concern when you walked into my home injured." He moved closer and she caught his scent, sandalwood and something darker, whiskey, maybe. "Is there a boyfriend involved?" "No." "Husband?" "No." "Then who?" Keisha met his stare, saw genuine worry there mixed with something that looked like barely controlled rage. "Why does it matter to you?" "I'm just the person who cleans your house." Something flickered across his face. Hurt, maybe surprise. "You think that's all you are to me, isn't it?" Damon was quiet for a long moment. "I notice everything in my space, Keisha. 8 months ago, you started leaving small things. A book you're reading on the side table, tea bags and flavors I've never bought. You reorganized my kitchen because you think the way I had it made no sense. You cracked the bedroom window exactly 4 inches because you somehow figured out I sleep better with air circulation." Her throat tightened. She'd thought herself completely invisible. "You hum when you're working," he continued. "Gospel songs. Your mother's favorites, I'd guess, because sometimes you whisper words about glory and grace." He tilted his head slightly. "You're not just my housekeeper. You're the only genuine thing in this apartment." Keisha couldn't find words. "Mr. Park, I need to know who did this. His name. I can't tell you that. Can't or won't. Both." She grabbed her cleaning supplies. "I should leave." His hand caught her wrist, the unbruised one. Gentle but absolutely firm. "If you walk out that door right now, you're refusing my protection. Whoever hurt you will do it again. They always do." "Your protection," she almost laughed. "You don't know anything about me. I know you have a daughter, 6 years old, I think. I know you work 3 jobs to afford rent in a building where you're afraid to walk the stairs at night. I know you're tougher than anyone I've met in my world. And I know," he stopped, jaw tight, "that I won't allow anyone to hurt you again." The elevator chimed. Damon's entire demeanor shifted instantly, the concern vanishing behind cold authority. A man stepped out. Korean, younger, deferential. "Boss, we have a problem at the—" He stopped, seeing Keisha. Damon spoke rapid Korean, tone dismissive. The man bowed and disappeared. "Keisha." Damon's voice pulled her back. "Stay. Have dinner here with me. Explain what happened." "I can't do that." "Why not?" "Because you're Damon Park." She gestured around the penthouse. "And I'm nobody." His hand rose to her face, fingers hovering over the edge of her split lip with heartbreaking gentleness. "You're wrong. You're the first person I've wanted to actually know in 15 years. Keisha's phone vibrated. "Maya's daycare." She pulled away. "I have to go." She made it to the elevator before he could stop her, but she felt his gaze following her down, heavy and searching and impossibly dangerous. That night, lying in her narrow bed in their cramped apartment, Keisha touched the split on her lip and tried to understand why Damon Park had looked at her like she mattered. 3 days went by. Keisha returned to the penthouse on schedule, half expecting Damon to terminate her contract or worse, demand information she couldn't provide. Instead, she found him at his desk, laptop open, clearly waiting. "You came back." He sounded genuinely relieved. "It's my job. It's Thursday at 3. He gestured to a chair nearby. "Sit with me, Mr. Park. I really should start cleaning. Please." That single word undid her completely. Keisha set her supplies down and sat, maintaining careful space between them. Damon pushed a mug toward her. Expensive coffee, probably imported, perfectly prepared. "I made some inquiries," he said quietly. Keisha's blood went cold. "Inquiries about what?" "About you. About who might have a reason to hurt you." He held up a hand before she could object. "I was careful. But Keisha, if someone's threatening you, I have resources." "No." She stood. "You can't do whatever you're planning. This isn't your situation to handle." "Then whose situation is it?" His eyes flashed. "You're working yourself to exhaustion just to survive. Someone assaulted you. That makes it my situation now. Why, she demanded. Why do you care about any of this? Damon stood, moving around the desk until they were inches apart. Because when I see you, I don't see my housekeeper. I see someone who brings life into this tomb I've built for myself. I see someone who sings like she still has faith in goodness, despite everything trying to beat it out of her. You don't know me, then let me. His hand lifted to her face again, that same hovering gesture, asking permission. This time, Keisha didn't retreat. His fingers brushed her cheek, feather light, tracing along the edge of the bruise. The touch was so tender it hurt worse than the original blow. His name is Terrell, she heard herself whisper. My ex, Maya's father. Damon's hand stilled. Where is he currently? I don't know. He disappeared when I got pregnant. Showed up 2 weeks ago, demanding money. Said I owed him for his contribution to a kid he never wanted. Her voice broke. He got violent when I refused. Did he threaten your daughter? The protective fury in those words made her look up. Damon's face was stone, but his eyes burned. He said things, Keisha admitted. About knowing where she goes to daycare. About how easily children get hurt. Damon's jaw clenched. He pulled out his phone, typed rapidly in Korean, then put it away. That threat ends today. What are you going to do? I'm handling it. Terrell will forget you exist. You can't just. Keisha grabbed his arm. Damon, whatever you're thinking, don't. I can't have blood on my conscience. There won't be blood. There will be a conversation. His hand covered hers. Keisha, men like Terrell understand one language. I happen to be fluent. I don't want your help. Too bad. You have it regardless. He pulled her closer and suddenly they were sharing the same air, occupying the same impossible space. I'm finished pretending you're invisible. I'm finished pretending I don't watch the clock until Thursday at 3. Her heart pounded. This is insane. You're you and you're the woman I think about during business meetings. You're the reason I started coming home early on Thursdays. His thumb traced over her knuckles. You're the only real thing in my entire life. You barely know me, then let me know you. He bent slightly, bringing their faces level. Have dinner with me. Actual dinner, not me cornering you at work. I have Maya to think about. Bring her. Keisha blinked. You want to meet my daughter? I want to meet everyone important to you. I want to understand what makes you sing those songs. He stopped. Something vulnerable crossing his features. I want to matter to you the way you've started to matter to me. The elevator opened. Damon cursed in Korean but didn't step back. Another man appeared, older, speaking urgently. Damon responded with sharp words that made the man pale and retreat immediately. I have to handle something, Damon said, turning back to Keisha. But tomorrow. Dinner at my restaurant in Koreatown. Ari rang, 7 o'clock. I'll send a car. Damon, I can't afford anything like that. You're not paying. You're my guest. He lifted her hand to his lips, pressed a kiss to her knuckles that sent electricity through her. Say yes, Keisha. Let me show you what it's like to be seen. She should refuse. Should maintain the safe distance between their worlds. Should protect herself and Maya from the dangerous orbit of Damon Park. But when he looked at her like she was rare and precious, when his touch made her feel valued instead of invisible, when his voice wrapped around her name like a promise. Yes, she whispered. Damon's smile transformed his face, made him look younger, almost vulnerable. Tomorrow, then. He was gone before she could reconsider, leaving her standing in his perfect penthouse, hands still tingling from his kiss, heart racing with equal parts fear and hope. That night, Maya asked why Mommy kept smiling at nothing. Keisha told her they were going to dinner at a fancy restaurant. She didn't mention the man with dangerous eyes who'd somehow seen through her invisibility and decided she was worth protecting. She didn't mention that every instinct warned this would end in heartbreak. She especially didn't mention that for the first time in 6 years, heartbreak seemed like a risk worth taking. Arirang occupied a corner in Koreatown that whispered wealth and secrets. Keisha stood outside with Maya, both wearing their church clothes, which still looked shabby against the restaurant's elegant exterior. Mama, are you sure we're allowed in there? Maya tugged at her dress, a hand-me-down from a cousin that Keisha had carefully altered. We were invited, sweetheart. Keisha squeezed her daughter's hand, fighting her own anxiety. The door opened before they could enter. A hostess in traditional Korean dress bowed. Ms. Williams, the boss is expecting you." They were led through the main dining area, all dim lighting and expensive clientele, to a private room and back. Damon stood when they entered, and Keisha's breath caught. He wore dark slacks and a burgundy shirt with the sleeves rolled up, revealing forearms and the edge of tattoos. Casual elegance that probably cost more than her car payment. "Keisha." His eyes swept over her, warm and appreciative. "You're beautiful," she flushed, suddenly aware of her cheap dress. "Beautiful," he repeated firmly, then crouched to Maya's level. "And you must be Maya. Your mom mentions you constantly." Maya's eyes went wide. "She does? All the time. She says you're the smartest kid in kindergarten." "First grade," Maya corrected seriously. "But I can read chapter books." Damon's smile was genuine. "Then we'll get along perfectly. I love to read." "Do you like books?" Maya nodded enthusiastically, launching into a detailed description of her favorite stories, while Damon listened with apparent fascination. Keisha watched them, heart squeezing at how natural Damon was with her daughter. No patronizing tone, no forced interest, just genuine engagement. Dinner was a revelation. Course after course of Korean food Keisha had never experienced, each explained patiently by Damon. He taught Maya how to use chopsticks, laughing when she struggled. He told stories about growing up in Seoul, about his grandmother who taught him to value good food and strong people. "My grandmother would have admired you," he said to Keisha, refilling her water. "She always said the strongest people are those who protect others at any cost." "I'm not strong. You're raising an incredible daughter alone. You work 3 jobs. You stand up to men who threaten what you love." His eyes held hers. "Keisha, you're the strongest person I know." Maya excused herself to the restroom, leaving them alone for the first time all evening. The atmosphere shifted immediately, tension crackling between them. "Thank you," Keisha said softly, "for this. For being kind to Maya. I'm not being kind. I'm being honest." Damon leaned forward. "She's remarkable because you're remarkable." "Damon, I meant what I said yesterday. About wanting to know you, about you mattering to me." His hand found hers across the table. "I know this is fast. I know our worlds don't fit together logically. But Keisha, I haven't felt this present in years. She should pull away." Instead, she turned her hand over, threading their fingers together. "I'm scared. Of me, of what you make me feel. Of what happens when reality comes crashing in." She met his eyes. "You're Damon Park. I know the rumors. I know what you do." "What do I do?" "Dangerous things. You're powerful. You're completely out of my league." His thumb traced her palm. "You want to know what I see when I look at you. I see someone who makes me want to be better. Someone who makes me question every choice that led to this life." His voice dropped. "Someone who makes me think maybe I could be more than what I've become." "Damon?" Maya burst back in, shattering the moment. But Damon didn't release Keisha's hand. And when Maya noticed, she smiled like she'd uncovered a wonderful secret. They stayed another 2 hours. Damon ordered dessert, bingsu that made Maya's eyes light up, and told more stories. He asked about Keisha's childhood in Atlanta, listened to her talk about her grandmother's cooking, her hope of maybe starting her own small cleaning company someday. "Not just cleaning," he said thoughtfully. "A business that pays living wages, that treats workers with dignity. It's just a dream. Dreams become reality when someone believes in them hard enough." His eyes held a promise. "I believe in yours." The drive home was in Damon's car, a sleek black Audi driven by a silent security guard. Maya fell asleep against Keisha's shoulder, content and happy. "She likes you," Keisha murmured. "Good. Because I plan on being around much more." Damon shifted closer. "If you'll allow it. This is crazy. Maybe." His hand cupped her face, thumb brushing over where the bruise had been. The injury was healing, yellow-green now instead of purple. "But I'm finished pretending I don't want this. Want you. People will talk. Your world and mine, they're different. My world is whatever I say it is." His voice turned fierce. "And I say, you belong in it." The car stopped outside her apartment building, a rundown complex in a neighborhood that made Damon's jaw tighten. He helped her extract sleepy Maya, then walked them to the door despite Keisha's protests. "Tomorrow," he said at her doorway, "come to the penthouse, not to work, to see me." "Damon, he kissed her. Soft and searching, a question more than a demand. Keisha's free hand fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer, even as her mind screamed warnings. He tasted like possibility and danger, like everything she'd trained herself not to want. When they broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. "Tomorrow," he repeated. "Tomorrow," she agreed, and watched him disappear into the night, taking her common sense with him. Tomorrow arrived with chaos. Keisha was getting Maya ready for school when her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost ignored it, but something made her answer. Ms. Williams, a woman's voice, professional and cold. "This is Detective Chen, LAPD. We need to discuss Terrell Jackson." Keisha's blood froze. "What about him? He's filed a complaint alleging harassment from someone connected to you. He's also claiming you've made false accusations of assault." The floor tilted. "That's not true. I never filed anything. We need you to come to the station today." Keisha's mind raced. She'd told Damon about Terrell. Damon had made calls. Oh God, what had he done? She dropped Maya at school and went straight to the penthouse, bypassing her usual schedule entirely. Damon answered the private elevator in gym clothes, sweaty and gorgeous, and completely unconcerned. "Keisha, I wasn't expecting you until..." He stopped, seeing her face. "What's wrong? What did you do?" Her voice shook. "The police called. Terrell's claiming harassment. What did you do?" Damon's expression shuddered. "I had a conversation with him. Like I said I would." "What kind of conversation?" "Because now he's lying to the police about me. He's lying because I made crystal clear what happens if he comes near you again." Damon approached her carefully. "The harassment claim won't stick. I have people who... You have people." Keisha stepped back. "Damon, I can't be involved in whatever you did. I have Maya. If Child Services thinks I'm connected to..." She couldn't breathe. "I could lose her?" Understanding dawned on his face. "Keisha, no. That won't happen. I made sure of it." "You made sure?" Her voice rose. "You don't get to make sure of anything. In my life. You don't get to fix my problems with whatever criminal connections you have. I was protecting you. I didn't ask for your protection." "I asked?" She stopped, realizing the truth. "I never asked for anything. You just took over like I'm some damsel who needs rescuing by the powerful crime boss." Damon flinched. "That's not what this is." "No? Then what is it?" "Because from where I'm standing, you're playing hero while I'm the one who'll face the consequences." She laughed bitterly. "And you have money and power and I have..." "You have me," he said fiercely. "You have my protection, my resources. Everything I am. I don't want them." The words exploded out of her. "I want my simple life where I understand the rules, where I clean houses and raise my daughter and stay invisible, because invisible means safe. Invisible is slowly dying." Damon grabbed her shoulders. "You think I don't see what that life costs you? You're drowning, Keisha. I'm trying to pull you out. I don't want you to pull me out. I want," her voice cracked, "I want to not be terrified that loving you will destroy everything I've built." The room went silent. Keisha realized what she'd said. Watched Damon's face transform. "You love me," he whispered. She tried to take it back, couldn't. "That's the only thing that matters." He pulled her close and she went, despite everything, burrowing into his chest like she could hide from the world there. "Keisha, I will fix this. The police situation, it'll disappear. Terrell will never bother you again. I swear on everything I am. That's what terrifies me. Everything you are includes things I can't be part of." His arms tightened. "Then I'll change. I'll walk away from all of it." "You can't change what you are, Damon. You're the leader of whatever organization. You have responsibilities, people depending on you. A whole world I don't understand, so help me understand yours. Let me in completely, let me..." Her phone rang. The detective again. Keisha pulled away to answer, and Damon's expression hardened at whatever he heard in her voice. When she hung up, he was already making calls in Korean, his tone sharp and commanding. Within 30 minutes, he had a lawyer heading to the police station, someone to pick up Maya from school, and apparently Terrell's complaint in the process of being dismissed. "It's handled," he said finally. Keisha stared at him. This man who could reshape reality with a few phone calls, who looked at her like she was precious, who'd somehow become essential to her happiness in just a few weeks. "I need time," she said quietly, "to think. to figure out if I can do this. Pain flashed across his face. How much time? I don't know. Keisha, please. She was already backing toward the elevator. Just please. She left him standing in his perfect penthouse, looking lost for the first time since she'd met him. The ride down felt like falling, and Keisha wondered if she'd just made the biggest mistake of her life, or if the biggest mistake was falling in love with Damon Park in the first place. 4 days of silence. Damon didn't call, didn't text, gave her the space she'd requested. Keisha should have felt relieved. Instead, she felt hollow. She went through the motions. Work, Maya, sleep, repeat. Terrell's complaint had indeed vanished like Damon promised. She should have been grateful. She was mostly terrified of how easily he'd made her problem disappear. On the 5th day, Maya asked why they weren't seeing Mr. Park anymore. It's complicated, sweetheart. Do you miss him? Yes. No point lying to her too perceptive daughter. Then why don't we see him? Maya's eyes, too old for 6, studied her. Is it because he's rich and we're not? Keisha's heart broke. It's because his life is very different from ours. He made you smile, Mama. You don't smile much anymore. Maya crawled into her lap. I liked when you smiled. That night, Keisha couldn't sleep. She kept replaying moments, Damon's hand on her face, his fierce protectiveness, the way he'd crouched to Maya's level and listened like her daughter's words mattered, the way he'd kissed her like she was everything. Her phone buzzed at 1 a.m. Damon, I miss you. Tell me how to fix this. She stared at the message, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Tell him it's impossible. Tell him they're from different worlds. Tell him she's not strong enough for his life. Tell him she loves him anyway. Before she could respond, someone knocked on her door. Keisha's heart seized. Late-night knocks were never good news. She grabbed her phone, ready to dial 911, and peered through the peephole. Damon stood there in wrinkled clothes, hair disheveled, looking nothing like the controlled crime boss and everything like a desperate man. She opened the door. What are you? I can't do this. He pushed inside, pacing her tiny living room like a caged animal. 4 days, Keisha. 4 days of pretending I can function without you. I can't. Damon, it's 1 a.m. Maya's sleeping. I'll be quiet. He wasn't quiet. I've spent 15 years building an empire. 15 years making myself untouchable. Then you walk into my life humming gospel songs and leaving teabags around. And suddenly everything I built feels meaningless. You barely know me. I know everything that matters. I know you sacrifice for your daughter's future. I know you see good in people even when they don't deserve it. I know you think you're invisible, but Keisha. He crossed to her in 2 strides, cupping her face in both hands. You're the most visible thing in my world. When you're not there, everything goes dark. Tears burned her eyes. I'm scared. So am I. His forehead touched hers, terrified. Because you've become my vulnerability, and in my world, vulnerability gets you killed. But I don't care anymore. I'd rather die vulnerable with you than live safe and alone. Your world, it can adjust. Will adjust. I don't care what people think, what complications arise. I'm Black. You're Korean. That matters. To people, not to me, but to others, to your organization. Anyone who has a problem with us has a problem with me. His voice turned to ice. And problems with me don't last long. That's what scares me. The casual way you talk about violence. The way you can make people disappear with a phone call. Would you rather I let Terrell hurt you? Let anyone hurt you? His grip tightened. I won't apologize for protecting what's mine. I'm not yours. Aren't you? He pulled back to look at her, and his eyes held everything. Desperation, hope, love. Because I'm completely yours. Every dark, broken part of me belongs to you now. And I know that's not fair. I know I'm dragging you into something complicated. But Keisha, his voice cracked. I can't lose you. I won't survive it. Damon, I love you. The words hung between them, raw and honest. I love that you're fierce and stubborn. I love that you make me want to be better. I love how you are with my daughter. A shaky breath. Let me love you. Let me take care of you and Maya. Let me be the man you make me want to be. What if it's not enough? What if the difference is between us? Then we'll fight for it together. He kissed her, soft and pleading. I'll leave my world if you ask. I'll know, she pulled back. I won't ask you to give up who you are. Then what do you want? Keisha looked at this powerful man reduced to vulnerability in her cheap apartment, asking her to save him the way he'd tried to save her. She thought about Maya asking why she didn't smile, about how invisible she'd felt before Damon looked at her like she was real, about how love was always a risk, but some risks were worth taking. I want you, she whispered. All of you, even the complicated parts, even the scary parts. She grabbed his shirt, pulled him closer. I want you to teach me Korean. I want to learn about your world while you learn about mine. He kissed her. Deep and claiming, lifting her off the ground as she wrapped around him. They broke apart, breathless. I want you to meet my grandmother, she continued, in Atlanta. I want Maya to have a father figure who shows up. I want to wake up next to you and not feel like I'm trespassing in your life. You're not trespassing. You're home. He set her down gently. My apartment is home now because you're in it. I'm home because you see me. Damon, marry me. Keisha froze. What? Not now. Not tomorrow. But eventually. Marry me and let me spend my life proving you're the best decision I ever made. He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. Let me love you and Maya. Let me be yours. You're insane. About you? Absolutely. He smiled against her mouth. Say maybe. Give me maybe. Maybe. She laughed through tears. You're absolutely insane and way too intense, and yours. Nobody touches what's mine. His voice turned fierce, protective. You're mine now, Keisha, and I'm yours. Anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with me. She pulled him down for another kiss, surrendering to the impossible, terrifying, perfect reality of loving Damon Park. A small voice interrupted. Mama, why is Mr. Park here? They broke apart to find Maya in her doorway, sleepy and curious. Damon immediately crouched to her level. I came to ask your mom something important, but I should ask you too. He took Maya's small hand in his. Would it be okay if I spent more time with you and your mom, if I became part of your family? Maya studied him with 6-year-old seriousness. Will you make Mama smile again, every single day? Will you read me stories, and teach me Korean? And she hesitated. Will you stay? My dad left. People always leave. Damon's expression softened. I'm not leaving. Not ever. I promise you both. He looked between them. You're my family now, and I protect my family. Maya threw her arms around his neck. Damon stood, lifting her easily, and reached for Keisha with his free arm. They stood there, the crime boss, the housekeeper, and the little girl, forming something new and fragile and impossibly strong. I love you, Keisha whispered against Damon's shoulder. I love you both, he whispered back. My whole world. And for the first time in 6 years, Keisha felt completely, utterly, perfectly seen. Years later, Keisha stood in the penthouse, their penthouse now, leaving tea bags around. Not cheap drugstore tea anymore, but she still bought them herself, still insisted on the ritual. Damon watched from the kitchen doorway, coffee in hand, looking at her like she was everything. You're staring, she said without turning. Can't help it. You're beautiful when you're focused. She turned, smiled. His shirt hung open, revealing the tattoos that now included her name in Korean characters over his heart. She wore his shirt from yesterday, bare legs underneath, completely comfortable in the space that had once intimidated her. Maya called. She got into Stanford. Keisha's voice trembled with pride. Of course she did. She's brilliant. Damon crossed to her, pulled her close. Like her mother, her father helped. Keisha's cleaning business had flourished with Damon's backing. Fair wages, great benefits, a model that other companies now copied. She ran it herself, but he'd been there for every milestone. I just provided capital. You provided the vision. A knock interrupted them. Damon tensed automatically, old habits, but relaxed when familiar voices called out. His associates, now uncles to Maya. Keisha's grandmother visiting from Atlanta with more soul food than 3 people could eat. Maya herself, home from school with friends in tow. Their apartment filled with Korean and English, with laughter and love and the collision of worlds that had somehow formed something new. Damon had stepped back from his organization, gone legitimate with the restaurants. The transition had been rough, but Keisha had been there through all of it. That night, after everyone left, Damon found her on the balcony overlooking Los Angeles. Regrets? He asked, wrapping arms around her from behind. Never. She leaned into him. You? Only that I didn't see the injury on your face sooner. That I wasted 8 months seeing you without really seeing you. Keisha turned in his arms. You see me now, every day, for the rest of my life. He kissed her softly. My beautiful, strong, impossible wife. Your stubborn, tea-leaving, kitchen-reorganizing wife, she corrected. Mine, he agreed. Completely, perfectly mine. And in the city that had once made her feel invisible, Keisha Williams Park had never felt more seen, more loved, more home. We've reached the conclusion of our compelling African-Korean story. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories that prove love can heal the deepest wounds. Share this video with someone who believes in the power of love to cross any boundary. Your support means everything to me. Comment below and tell us what you thought about Damon and Keisha's journey, and remember, sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is truly see someone. Until next time, keep believing in love.